Okay guys, so yesterday we looked at slope-intercept form, the most beautiful equation there is for a beautiful line. Today we're going to actually be looking from converting to the slope-intercept form. So we looked at it, now we're going to be looking at situations where we think it's not there, but actually we can get there doing just a couple simple things. Okay, so let's answer this first question. What equation in the graph shown to the right, so this line right here, is this equation? Alright, you take a guess. It's actually very hard with the knowledge you have right now because they all kind of just look like equations. Like how do you can you tell if this equals this line? It's not in that slope-intercept form, so we don't even know like where in this case are the y-intercepts. I know you want to say, well, 12 and 6. It's not like that because remember, the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So if it's not in this form where y is alone, we can't actually gather information from it, okay? So to learn the answer above, we actually have to look at equations that are not in slope-intercept form. So let us look at these right here. So rewrite the equations below in slope-intercept form and then graph on them on the same coordinate plane. So it's going to have a bunch of lines here. It's going to look really cool. So right now, slope-intercept form, remember y equals mx plus b. So y equals, we're always going to put the slope at the front. That's a nice, clean slope-intercept form. And it's going to look something like that. Now, let's graph this guy, okay? And I get to use different colors if you notice I'm doing it in different software. Trying it out, it looks really cool. So 1, 2, so right here is the y-intercept. Always graph your y-intercept first, okay? Always graph that too, remember? B is y-intercept, M is slope. And then to create the next points, you literally just use your slope in order to plot a few points. So remember, slope is our rise over run. So we have to rise 1 and we have to run 3. 1, 2, 3. And remember, we can do the opposite by going down 1 and to the left 3. 1, 2, 3, right here. Let's try to draw a nice, beautiful line. Ooh, gorgeous. Let's switch this to blue. And let's put this into slope-intercept form. So you always have to have your x first, and then our minus 3. So first step, always plot your y-intercept, which is your b, which is your guy alone. It has no variable. That is our y-intercept. Start at 0. 1, 2, 3. Remember, if you're not understanding this, please go to the previous lesson. You don't have to worry about this one until tomorrow, but make sure you do the previous lesson or else this is not going to make sense, okay? I just want to preface that. And our slope, you're like, Miss Harper, there's no slope there. There's no number. Yes, there is. Which number do we always put that we just don't write? I'm going to make a dotted one. There's actually a 1 there. We just don't see it. So that tells us now, remember, to rise 1. And you're like, Miss Harper, there's no run. So what do? You got to remember, math people are very lazy. We don't put something. We don't put the over 1, right? So it's really telling us to go up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. Rise 1, run 1, right? Let's create that awesome line. Holy smokes, Miss Harper. That was horrible. Oh, that was better than most, you know. We're going to pick a different color. Pick some pink. This one, so we got negative 2x plus 4 because there's no negative in front of it. I want you to graph this, pause the video, graph it, see how it's going to look, okay? Do the next one as well. Right now I'm going to go through them, so I hope Joe actually did it and unpaused it. First step, always plot that y-intercept, start at 0 and count 1, 2, 3, 4. Always plot this first. And then use this to do our rise over run. Oh, in this case, we're going down. We're going down 2, and then we have to go over 1 because remember, this is always over 1. So we got to go down 2, to the right 1, and remember, it's always to the right. when you're doing it just normally. I know what we did here, that was doing the opposite of both, okay? Go down to the right. We have enough lines, beautiful, put that through. And the last one, let me use, I guess, green. Oh, look at this guy. This guy is fun. So we need to get this y by itself, because if you notice, our equation is always having y by itself. So we got to get rid of this 1. And the only way to do that is to do the opposite operation it's doing. So right now it's +1, so the opposite would be -1. Now, the key thing I want you to remember in my class is what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side of this equation. So we -1 here, we got a -1 here, and what that comes out to is -3/4 x minus 1. So there is our slope-intercept form. Look how beautiful that looks. And now we can actually plot it. So first step, always plot your y-intercept, which is -1, so it's right here. And then this tells us our rise over run. So we got to actually go down instead of going up. We got to go down 3 and over 4. This is a big one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, remember what I said? That's our normal rise over run. Now if we do the opposite, so that means we have to go up 1, 2, 3, and not to the right 4. We have to do the opposite, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And wow, that was a horrible line. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that was a horrible line. I'm so sorry. Oh, wait. Yeah, I did that right. That was really bad. You try to make it better. Alright. So, that's that. This is a really big lesson. But it's just because a lot of the pages take up space, so don't worry too much about it. But let's move on. So, in the last equation, we had to isolate y. We had to get this y by itself, right? Because that's what satisfies our slope-intercept form, is when y is by itself. So let's actually practice this. We're going to go through the first one together, sorry. And I want you to try the next 3 on your own, but then I'll quickly go through it for the video, okay? So, y is not by itself. It has this pesky +2x. In order to get rid of it, remember, you have to do the opposite operation. So right now the operation is adding 2x, or minusing 2x. Dang. So the opposite of minus would be to add 2x to this side to cancel out. Now what you do to one side of this equation, you have to do the other, so you have to add 2x here. And then we will be left with a whopping y equals 2x plus 7, because remember that 2x has to always be in front. So right now I want you to pause it. Please try these on your own. Again, I'm just going to go through it, but if you don't actually do it on your own, you might not really understand it. So make those mistakes. It's okay. Use an eraser if you got it totally wrong, but at least you'll see where you got wrong, So try it out. So we got to get rid of this 3, this pesky 3. Right now it's +3. So in order to bring this to the other side, we have to do the opposite operation it's doing. So instead of adding 3, we have to subtract 3. Oops. That will cancel because 3 minus 3 is 0. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other, okay? So now we write what we're left with. Y equals, make sure your x is in front, x plus 3. Alright, the next case, we want this y value by itself. Has this pesky -2/3x. Luckily, we can just take that whole thing over to the other side by doing the opposite operation it's doing. Right now, it's negative. It's telling me it's negative. So then we would have to add 2/3x to this side. What you do to one side, please, 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 please do to the other, or else it will not work. That's going to cancel. We're just left with y equals 2/3x minus 5. Remember, always put the x in front. Lastly, this is something different. Right now, this 2 actually has a buddy. There's nothing adding to it or subtracting to this y. Remember, this right here represents timesing. times, right? They're timesing 2 times y. So we got to think, if this is timesing, and we have to do the opposite operation in order to bring this pesky 2 to the other side of the equation, we have to remember what is the opposite of timesing something. I hope you said in your mind, well, Miss Harper, we have to divide. And you're right. The opposite of dividing is, or silly, the opposite of timesing is dividing. But what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we got to divide by 2 to these guys over here. So this is going to cancel out. We're just left with y. 4 divided by 2 is 2x plus 6 divided by 2 is 3. Look at that beautiful equation. You did that. You guys did that. All right, let's move on. Sometimes it's not just like, look at these easy 1 steps. All we did was just 1 step. Sometimes it ain't that easy. I'm sorry. All right, it ain't that easy. We're actually going to take it up a notch after that, okay? It's going to get real crazy. But look, we're getting into some things that kind of looked wonky up here, right? But they're actually literally just the slope-intercept form. They're kind of like a disguise. These are just like disguises. Like they're trying to be the slope-intercept form because the slope-intercept form is so amazing. Like they're trying their best. They're just not there yet, so you kind of have to help them along in order to look like this beautiful equation that we learned about yesterday, okay? So our first step, I know you might want to get rid of this 4 first. Don't do that. That's going to overcomplicate things. It's going to look really disgusting if you do that first, okay? So let's not focus on the 4 until the end. First, let's focus on this 3x. This positive 3x, because there's no negative. We want to bring this whole guy over to the other side. We know that when we want to bring something to the other side, we have to do the opposite operation. So we got to minus this 3x here. What you do to one side, you got to do to the other, minus 3x on that side. Cancel out. What we're left with is 4y equals negative 3x, because x always comes first, plus 8, okay? So we're close. Now it kind of looks like this kind of problem that we just did. Now we got to get rid of this 4y. Remember, it's 4 times y. That's really key that we know that whenever they're buddy-buddy like that. So we got to do the opposite of timesing, which is dividing by the number we want to get rid of. Now, what you do to one side, you got to do to the other, okay? Please do this step or else it does not end up well for you, and I want it to end up well. Now, 3 divided by 4 does not come out to a nice number. That's okay. We're just going to leave it like that. We don't want a decimal. And 8 divided by 4 comes out to a 2. So look at that. We started off with this thing that kind of looked like this guy, which looked kind of scary at the beginning. But once you just start doing things in order to get this awesome equation, it's pretty straightforward from there. So again, I want you to pause it. Try to do these last 2 on your own. And then when you unpause it, you can check your answers, okay? Because I'm going to go through them really quickly. Okay, so again, don't tackle the 7y right away. Don't tackle the y right away. Always save that till the end. Let's tackle this x. So right now it's minus x. So we got to do the opposite of minus, which is adding. What you do to one side, you got to do the other. So we got to add x on this side. These will cancel out. Then we're just left with 7y equals x minus 21. Okay, our next step, now we can tackle that 7. So in order to get this 7 out of the way, right now it's 7 times y. So if we're timesing, we must divide because that is the opposite operation. And we can't just divide this guy, you have to do it to the other side as well. So we got to divide by 7. Divide by 7, we're just left with y, which is what we want. And we're just left with 1 over 7x, because remember there's always a 1 in front of there, minus 3. So there we go, there's our awesome equation. And let's do it again. So now we are dealing with 8 minus 2y equals 5x. First step, always get rid of the guy alone or the x. So right now it's plus x, so we got to do the opposite of plus, which is minus. What you do to one side, please, please, please do to the other side of the equation, or else things are unbalanced. It doesn't work out very well. And then we're left with 2y, or negative 2y. equals 5x minus 8. Now this part's key. If you notice on all of the slope-intercept forms, y was always a positive number. There is no negative there. So in this case, we don't just want to get rid of this 2. We actually really want to get rid of this negative 2. So how we do that is, you do the same process. Don't think that you have to do some complicated step. Is instead of just dividing by 2 to get rid of this 2, you're going to have to actually divide by the negatives as well. So negative 2 divided by negative 2. But that means that you got to divide by negative 2 all the way on the other side of the equation as well. Okay, that's really key. Don't forget this negative. People always forget it. It messes up their numbers. And it honestly creates a new line that wasn't supposed to be there. So what we're left with is y equals negative 5 over 2 x plus 4, because negative 8 divided by negative 2 is 4. And I meant to kind of put this negative in the middle of them, not negative 5, like that. There you go. Now, let's get into these super crazy ones. Look at how wild they look. Look at how crazy they look. So, these ones actually take a lot of work. And you got to be really patient with these ones, because if you move too fast, you are going to mess up. Honestly, I mess up so much times on these because I think I'm awesome and I move too fast. And I literally just have to do so. You just have to do nice, clean math here. I don't want any sloppy math where you try to cut corners. It's really important that you do every step and you do it correctly in this case, okay? So, when we're getting to these, this is actually called a binomial. We actually learned about this in our exponents unit, which we haven't seen for a while, so that's why I want to give you a refresher. Binomial, just two terms. And what you do is you actually have to distribute this number on the outside inside. Because he's kind of alone. These two are hanging out, but then this guy's just chilling alone. So you want to bring him in. You don't want him to be lonely. Now the only way to bring him in is by timesing. Okay? So we gotta go negative 4 times y, which gives us negative 4y. Real cheap, I know. And then negative 4 times negative 1, which will give us negative 4. Same thing with this guy. This 6 is lonely. Alright, he's sad, he's lonely, he has no friends. So let's give him some friends. So we gotta distribute him in. That's what it's called, distributing. 6 times x is just literally 6x. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. Now it's getting into something more familiar. It's actually starting to look like the problems we already did, which makes it less intimidating. All right. So we go back to the basics now. We just want to get rid of these numbers right here that are attached to the y. We don't care about this negative 4 or this negative 4. We want to get it to the other side. So let's start with the easy guy. Let's pull over this negative 4 who's alone. Right now it's negative. In order to bring it to the other side, you have to do the opposite operation, which is adding. So plus 4. What you do on one side, you gotta do to the other. Plus 4 on that side. So what we are left with is negative 4y equals 6x. Negative 24 plus 4 is negative 20. Now we're not done yet. I told you this guy's a lot of work. We have to do this step and then this step and then one last step. I hope you're saying, well, Miss Harper, this one last step is real easy. Yes, it is. We just gotta get rid of this pesky negative 4. And in order to do that, because they are timesing negative 4 times y, negative 4y, same thing, we gotta divide. And please, please, what you do to one side, you gotta do the same exact thing. These numbers here should all be the same. So what we're left with is our y equals, we can't really do much with this guy, so we're just going to leave him in fraction form. 20 divided by negative 4 is actually plus 5. Negative 20 divided by negative 4 is plus 5. So you guys try this last guy on your own. So pause the video, try it, see how far you get. Okay, oops, kind of covered it. So first step is actually, I know this looks really simple and we should do something, just leave it. Okay, I want you to distribute this first. This 4 is alone. Let's let it have some buddies. So distribute, remember you have to time, so 4 times x is literally 4x. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Now we can start moving things over. So, x minus y. What we can do is we gotta bring over this this x to the other side. Right now it's positive, so we just gotta minus it. Cancel, negative y equals, now this part, what is 4x minus an x? So you had 4 apples, take away an apple, you're just left with those 3 apples, right? Now you may think this is done, but remember that beautiful equation doesn't have a negative and this guy does, so we gotta get rid of it. How we get rid of it is it kind of like this negative number times y, so we actually have to divide by negative. Divide by negative over here, divide by negative over here. Negatives cancel, and we are just left with negative 3x plus 12. So this made it positive. And there we go. We did that. I really like doing this kind of stuff. It's like small algebra. I hope you guys do too. It's really fun to me, honestly. I know you guys might not find it fun. For today, I think we're honestly gonna do just this last one. So you actually won't have an assignment today just because this is a really heavy lesson. Actually, you're gonna have an assignment. No, you're gonna have a tiny assignment on just repeating this. So we're actually gonna cut it there because it's already kind of a long video, and I'm gonna give you an assignment and we're gonna finish it off tomorrow, okay? So you're literally just gonna be doing a bunch of these, okay? So again, you're gonna be doing an online assignment. It is called a form. Sorry, my bad. It's purple. You're gonna have pictures, or in this case, just equations. And then do it on paper and then write the answer in the spot so I can see it, okay? It's kind of like multiple choice, but only your choice, if that makes sense, okay? So just type it in as best as you can, and I'm going to be marking it. So hopefully you like it. Yeah, I'm going to cut the lesson there, and we'll do the rest tomorrow. All right, check out the blog. That's where the assignment is, where you found this video.